In this video, I'm going to break down the most popular video on my entire YouTube channel. It's a very smooth but simple approach where I talk to a girl, get her number in a few minutes, but part of the reason I think it was so popular is that it's just very effortless, right? It's not forced, it's not pushy, it's just basic, simple charisma, right? It's what an approach should look like, and there's a lot that you can learn by breaking it down and explaining exactly why I do what I do and why it worked. So with that said, let's take a look at the clip.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
you're really cute.
Thank
The
you.
top third of your face is really cute.
Thank you.
All right, so this was filmed when there was a mask mandate. Remember those great times? Remember how cool it was and how it turned out the mask really did help? That's why I'm making that comment. That was my way to make it playful by saying at least the top half of your face looks good. But this is a direct approach, and this is something a lot of men are afraid to do, and it's very important to get comfortable with a direct approach. The reason is, yes, actually it's smoother at the highest level. It's smoother to say something in the moment that's not just saying she's hot, that's indirect. That's the ideal, right? To come up with something situational. But if you are afraid, if you have anxiety, you have resistance about going direct, about just making your intentions clear and telling a girl that you think she's hot. If you have any resistance, if that idea, like me talking about it right now, you feel even a little bit of tightness in your stomach, that means you need to fucking do it. Because if you can't do that, nothing else will matter. Let me explain. When I first started learning about pickup, I learned the mystery method. I learned how to be indirect, covert, to never make my intentions clear, and to try to get girls to chase me. The idea sounds very appealing. It sounds very, suave and badass to just get them coming to you. But you know what happened? Nothing, right? I didn't get laid while I was using the mystery method because it was a defense mechanism to prevent me from truly putting myself out there, to prevent myself from getting the real man's blowout, to get my ego rejected or my ego hurt for being rejected in a sexual way. Because if you go in indirect and you get rejected, you can say, well, she wasn't sexually rejecting me, it was just social. You have a wall. And you have to face that. You have to just embrace that some of these rejections, they might hurt, right? It might hurt your ego in the short term. But that's what makes you icy. That's what makes you grounded. That's what gives you that masculine polarity that women find attractive. And the crutch for getting this down is to just start telling girls your intentions, to make it very clear why you're approaching them instead of hiding from it. And some women will be like, I have a boyfriend, not interested, whatever. But you become numb to that. And then a lot of girls will light up and you will dismantle this internal belief that modern men, probably more than any previous generation, have, which is the idea that just directly hitting on a girl is creepy, right? That is just bad. It's never good. Women don't like that. You're going to get canceled, etc., etc. Well, that's not the case. A lot of women will light up. They'll love it. And you'll get a lot of opportunities. And by doing this, you're giving yourself permission to escalate later, to ask the girl on a date. You're going to make all those things easier because you've already established, I'm here to hit on you, right? I think you're hot. You've already made that clear. You're not hiding from that fact. And this is what happens with guys who get stuck in the friend zone, sometimes for months or years, is they never established that. So if you establish it right at the beginning, now you don't have to worry like, oh, does she think I'm just trying to be her friend? Does she think I'm hitting on her? A lot of that anxiety, that stress, that friction inside yourself will go away, and it will make it easier to actually move things forward later in the interaction.
I can't make judgments on the rest.
I know, now it's always a mystery.
Yeah, that's exciting. I don't want your name either.
Okay.
And that'll just be, you can paint the perfect picture of what it could have been.
My name?
Yeah, and your face.
Okay.
How long are you here for?
I just got here today.
So-
I'm here until Sunday.
Oh, okay.
The thing you should pay attention to the most is my tonality. Like what I'm saying, there's certainly nothing wrong with it, but what really stands out is the fact that I'm combining two things which are both very important. One is that I sound positive and friendly, right? I'm not like a lot of red pill guys, they don't have that. When they talk, it's very wooden, it's very serious, it's very robotic, it's monotone, it's not friendly. If anything, it's kind of aggressive, maybe even judgmental. But I sound friendly, I sound positive, but I don't sound positive in a beta kind of way, right? I don't sound like I'm supplicating to her, that I'm deferring, that I'm see myself as beneath her, that I'm her employee and she's my boss. None of those kinds of things. I still sound dominant. I still sound masculine. I'm still speaking with a breaking rapport tonality where my voice goes down towards the end of sentences, and that's the most attractive tonality, is being expressive, being charismatic, being fun, but still having that element of dominance, still creating sexual tension by having a certain masculine edge to the way you're talking, as opposed to just being that friendly, nice guy that has no dick behind what he's saying, right? That has no real intention behind what he's saying. That's not really coming up to her as a man talking to a woman, but it's just a friend talking to a friend.
What about you?
That's long enough for a short but intense romance,
Yeah.
I would say. Are you like all together, all 7 of you?
Yes, and then there's 2 more that are gonna come.
Huge group.
Yeah, it's our friend. It's her 21st birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday. Tell her I said happy birthday. I mean, don't actually,
Well,
but
yeah, okay.
if you want to, you can.
Maybe she'll probably like.
Random blonde guy with nice eyes
Yeah.
said
Exactly.
that.
What's
Okay?
your name? Or are we good?
No, we're not supposed to know that.
Okay, okay.
So that actually kind of makes me think of Todd V, right? He'll say, do you mind going on a date with a cute boy or getting coffee with a cute boy? And I never really liked that because that just phrasing doesn't fit Todd, right? He's not a cute boy, right? It just doesn't fit. But the idea behind it isn't bad. The idea behind it is that you are controlling the frame, that you are basically assuming attraction, and that you're putting that out there without any hesitance or fear about it, right? And so when I say the random blonde guy, even though I'm really dirty blonde, but whatever, the random blonde guy with nice eyes, I'm basically assuming that she finds me attractive. I'm putting it in there, and that can sound forced. It can sound a little too button pushy, but it all comes down to the vibe and the tonality. And when I heard that, I didn't cringe, right? I didn't feel like, oh man, I was trying to force that in there. It was organic. It was natural. It came up unconsciously. It wasn't like a pre-planned line on a script. And that's the problem I see with people who've like followed Todd V, for example, is they'll say the right thing, but if it comes across as pushing a button, comes across as, oh, I need to go in my mind to memorize the script, then it comes across a little awkward. So yes, this is a form of a DHV, it's a technique, but the way I'm doing it, you wouldn't know. It seems natural, it's authentic, and that's why it works.
I can give you my stripper name.
Oh, what's that?
Douche.
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 I like that. It's not touche.
And it's not douchey.
No.
It's French for douchey. Okay, so do you think you might be able to sneak away at some point during the weekend and hang out for like a coffee or something?
Maybe.
Maybe? Well, let's try. What's your fake name?
So she says maybe, which isn't the best possible answer, but you are going to get resistance even when someone is interested. If you've ever done sales, a lot of the times the sales you end up closing are ones where they gave resistance. They don't want to overcommit, etc. And so even though she's saying maybe, she's saying it with a positive tonality, and that's not a big deal because realistically, if you're meeting girls in a tourist city, you're going to get a lot of flakes. You're going to get more flakes than a smaller town like where I'm from, Tucson. You're going to get a higher flake rate, but you're also going to get more like easy wins, if you will, like girls who are just super DTF. So that's the trade-off. You're going to get a lot of flakes, but you should still try. Flakes are part of the game. It's very normal to have like 1 out of 10 numbers lead to a date, and that will significantly increase over time. But what that really means is you just need to raise your standard for the amount of numbers you should be getting. If you're only expecting 10% to lead to a date, getting 1 number a week is not going to cut it. And a lot of people think that is, but it's bullshit. And realistically, you can get 15 numbers. I think my record was over 30 or something. If you really tried, you could get 15, even more numbers in a single night out. So you can do that on a weekly basis. You just have to be willing to put in the effort to not like let your approach anxiety determine that you just do one approach the whole night or only go out 10 minutes. If you really tried, you could get more than 10 numbers in a single night, which means you could almost guarantee that you would get a date every single time that you go out.
My name is... I'll do a tree.
Your tree.
Yeah.
How about Gaia?
Gaia?
The Earth Mother. Sounds cooler than tree to me.
Okay, yeah, do Gaia.
Okay, here, my phone's dead.
So I'm creating a bit of a role play where we're not giving each other our names, which is, it's a very common fantasy, right? Especially I think for women more so than even men. It's just the idea of anonymity. But I'm playing into that fantasy, and then we make up our fake names, and she says tree, which, you know, I thought was kind of lame. And so what I do, without sounding like a dick, without sounding condescending, which this is very key because a lot of guys would say the same thing but come across as a douche, which is not what you want to do, I change it to Gaia. And if you think about the subtext of what that's communicating, it's that I'm the leader, right? I'm the leader, she's the follower, I'm being dominant, she's being submissive. And it's not like overtly sexual, but that's what's being implied. And what a lot of guys do is the opposite, right? The way they communicate, they're not saying, I'm a little bitch. They're not saying, I'm going to be submissive to you, I'm incapable of dominance. They're not saying, I'm afraid of women, but that's what the whole conversation implies. That's what they imply by what they say and the way they carry themselves, and you want to be doing the opposite. You want to be doing something more like this.
Can I put your number in my phone, or my number in your phone? I know. You have an iPhone? That's a relief.
Oh yeah, I'm not.
Android users, that creep me out.
No, not Sarah with an H. Did they get it right? Oh, shit. You're about to make me super fucking
Douche. A project.
What's it about?
It's about psychology. Something called flow states.
Oh, that's cool.
That's like when you're so into something that you lose track of everything that's happening around you.
Oh, okay.
Like if you do art or play music or sports,
Yeah.
you probably know what it is. What do you do?
Here I'm talking about something that I'm genuinely passionate about, but it isn't something that women find, like, lame, right? Because, yes, if you're passionate about video games, that's great, but most women are going to find that to be a turnoff, completely uninteresting. So generally, you want the conversation to go to things that you are passionate about, but that she can relate to and appreciate as well. And if you're passionate, it will be infectious, right? She'll get more engaged, she'll get more drawn in. Your charisma will make her feel better. Whereas if you describe, for example, your job and you talk about how it's boring and it's lame, then you're going to make her think, first of all, that you're boring and you're lame, but she's going to feel bored talking to you. So the way that you express yourself will determine the way the girl feels while she's around you.
Right now I'm not doing anything.
Nothing?
No, I just moved to San Luis Obispo.
San Francisco?
No, San Luis Obispo.
Oh, I thought you said San Francisco, but really wrong.
Oh, no, I was born there.
Okay.
But yeah, I just moved there, and so I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So, because she wants me to get a remote job so we can hang out on the weekends.
Well, do it.
Server. I know.
If you're best friends and you get along, maybe we'll have a double date.
Yeah.
Since they seem to get along as well.
I know.
All right. It was great to...
So I'm sure you're wondering, like, did you smash? Did you go on a date with her? I'll let you know in a few seconds, but first I want to mention is how easy this is. How it's not rocket science, it's not extremely complicated. This was a solid, smooth interaction that, yeah, there's a few witty things I said, there's a few interesting remarks or whatever, but you could have taken that out and it still would have been fine. It still could have been good enough to lead to a date. And I want you to be aware of that because getting dates and just getting a bunch of numbers, you can do that even if your social skills and your wit and your ability to come up with things to say and free associate, even if it's at a very low level right now, you can still go up to girls and say, hey, I just wanted to say I think you're cute and make plans for a date, right? Ask them out on a date. You can do that even if your game isn't that good, right? You can still make that work. So it's very important to be aware of that because it can seem daunting, this whole pickup thing. But if you break it down and realize that you can just have short interactions where you put yourself out there, ask girls out, you'll start building momentum, you'll become more confident, you'll start having successes. Yes, some girls will reject you, but you'll realize, it wasn't that big of a deal, right? Like, I'm not dead. It's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be, so you start getting more self-belief, you start getting genuine wins where you're getting numbers and getting dates, and that will make you a lot more confident, and then you will start having longer interactions, or you'll start pulling, making out with girls, having more and more success. But to build that spiral, to build that momentum, you just have to start having at least short interactions where you're putting yourself out there, making your intentions clear, and asking women out. If you're not doing that, right, like actually asking women out on a regular basis, That's why you get no bitches. That's why you're not having dating success. That's why you're struggling. It's nothing else. All the other stuff, not important until you do that. That is the foundation everything else is built on. It's very important to be aware of that. Now, if that's something that you know you want to do it, but you just haven't been able to get yourself to take the leap, the easiest way to make that shift immediately is to get in-person coaching. Now, I'm only going to be doing in-person coaching in the US for the next 4 months, and then I'm going to Europe. So if you want to work with me in person and you live in the States, then make sure to click the link below to see if you're a good fit for one of my programs. I've had many clients who had been learning about pickup, thinking about pickup, wanting to get results, but just were stuck. We're stuck at level 0, not able to approach, not able to make anything happen. And as soon as they took a boot camp, not only did they quickly overcome approach anxiety, but many of them had their first one-night stand, met their girlfriend. A recent client slept with a Russian fitness model just a couple weeks after he took a boot camp. Those are the kinds of things that happen. So if you want to get off the sidelines, to have skin in the game, to have accountability, to not just go from 0 to 1 being able to ask girls out, but to make more progress in one weekend than most guys make in an entire year, then click the link below. I'm going to be doing a tour around the US for the next 4 months, and then I'm going to Europe. So if you procrastinate, you're probably going to miss the opportunity. It's probably going to be another year, another 2 years, another 3 years, and then you're like finally fed up with your own bullshit. Why not just decide that you're fed up with waiting, with not taking massive action right now?